Tomorrow's Man. I have one friend, a learned friend, as wise can be. He labours for the government, that is, for you and me. This friend for rather subtle ends works hard as planners can, and lately he's engaged to test and build tomorrow's man. He showed me on one quiet day around their factory. It cost us 40 trillion, though some would say it's free. Through numbing antiseptic smells and halls of glass and lead, he brought me to a pedestal where stood a human head. This is tomorrow's man, I understand, a prototype, designed by great philosophers for when the time is ripe, and once combined with heart and torso, arms and legs and hands, tomorrow's man will renovate our climate-ravaged lands. But as I gazed upon this face, it struck me by degrees that something in its countenance had filled me with unease. The first thing that arrested me as definitely queer was the fact that on this plaster head it hadn't any ears. I told this to my learned friend, who sighed and rolled his eyes. The budget wasn't big enough. We must economize. The thing you folk don't know about your dratted droopy ears is that freaky fractal flopping things are hard to engineer. I soon diffused the tension there with laughter and a quip, for you see, tomorrow's man will hear commands by microchip. But as I cast around for something new to talk about, it occurred to me, tomorrow's man, he hasn't got a mouth. He didn't use it anyway, my clever friend explained, and when he did, it caused us too much trouble, he complained. The higher-ups are adamant, we've had enough of choice. Tomorrow's man is better off without a stinking voice. Now thoroughly alarmed, I took my learned friend to task. Without a voice, how could tomorrow's man surpass his ghastly mask? He huffed and puffed and blustered, but made his feelings clear. Tomorrow's man will not succumb to cigarettes or beer. And lately I have heard, since that disastrous afternoon, that tomorrow's man will land upon our streets, deploying soon. He's a model human being, a marvel, truth be told. He works, invests, and prospers. But does he have a soul? So if you see that painted shell with lifeless, ghoulish eyes, with jagged holes for ears where functionaires economized, and a mouth that doesn't open, with a voice that never cries, restrain your urge to shudder. This is where the future lies. So today I've taken the unusual step of reading an original poem instead of a classic. By doing this, I am of course not claiming that my own efforts stand remotely on a par with the literary greats who fill the rest of the series. This is more of a stopgap before the next writer's collection. However, with all that said, I think it is important to appreciate poetry as a living art. It is not, as one critic said of Japanese theatre in the late 19th century, quote, the beauty of a pressed flower, crushed and dead. Art must always be more than the rote repetition of the old classics, and must incorporate the vitality that comes from striving to create and appreciate anew. In creating anew, we learn again the true value of the old. Just as a healthy culture emerges from the conversation between present, future, and past, so too must the art of the present be firmly grounded in an appreciation and understanding of the rich literary legacy that preceded it. With that, I present this comic poem and encourage you in your own efforts, no doubt frustrating or incomplete at first attempt, to participate in the living art and culture that is the English language.